my God, we are back. We are back. Oh my
Look
God.
who it is. Finstash has returned.
They'll
The moment you've all
return.
been waiting for. Or three of you have been waiting
The
for.
three people we had asking. They finally have probably moved on to some other YouTube podcast situation. Don't even care about us anymore. But we're back anyway.
Well, if that's the case, come on back, guys.
Come on back.
Finstash is here
We're
to
here.
provide the highest quality of fantasy takes.
We out here with the takes, the hot takes. We're ready.
Yeah, and it's an exciting time. Training camps are opening.
The Hall
Everyone
of
is-
Fame game was tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, not
nobody
good,
watched that.
but football is back. Is the point.
It's back, yeah, and it's the time of the year where football and fantasy fans alike are thinking the same thing. You know, is this going to be the year that my team takes home a championship? Except if you're Miami, who's just, yeah,
We just had
Tannehill
Ryan
dead.
Tannehill die on the
Dead.
field.
pull a Teddy Bridgewater. Oh,
Oh, God.
Teddy.
R.I.P. Teddy. R.I.P.
Yeah, so we're back. We're going to provide a lot of preseason mock draft for you guys. Going to get the mockiest of the mocks going on.
Mock
how you feeling about this year?
hard. What was your question?
We're rolling.
we're
How
in
are you
mid-season
feeling?
form.
Yeah, how are you
feeling
feeling
good.
about this fantasy season?
I'm feeling
Leo.
My conditioning is good. I'm ready to get out there, make some plays, do what I can.
Yep.
I'm back to this is the first season in like a few years where like I haven't paid that close of attention. I'm like really just starting to get into it.
Yeah, you're not supposed to say that. We're live, dude.
I mean, I've like know
People
everything.
trust your opinion.
I have all the hot and accurate takes. I've actually never
So
been
when I-
wrong.
When I
So-
say Jordan Howard, you say,
I say end of the second round or nah.
wow.
I have a sense for
Into the
ADP
second
a
round.
little bit, which you'll never
Phew.
get there. But if he ever did, then I'd
Hot
be on
takes are
it.
starting.
They're starting. Boom.
When I say Marshawn Lynch, you say,
Like sixth round, which he's never gonna make it to. So
that's insulting.
I'll never. Where would you take him?
First overall, baby.
First overall, Marshawn Lynch.
And then I'll just sprinkle Skittles all over myself as I click the draft button. It's happening.
All right. I mean, we'll
I'm-
see.
look.
We're about to throw you into a mock, so we'll see if you actually have what it takes to pull the trigger on him.
Yeah, but we're just going to jump into a standard mock here. We're going to start it off simple, effective. I don't think we're going to employ any particular draft strategy other than best player available.
Yeah. Other
So
than
here we
just
go.
always picking the right players.
Yeah,
All
because
right.
that's what we do. All right, so here we are. We're in a standard 12-team mockers. I'm going to be drafting from the first overall spot, and Leo's going to be drafting from the 12th overall spot, so you can get an idea of the current value that we're seeing, the beginning of training camp, beginning of preseason. So, Leo, what are you thinking about current ADPs, where they stand right now?
I think it's like pretty dank. No, actually.
You heard it here first. It's dank.
ADP is dank. I mean, I feel like this time of year, I always look at ADP and like hate a lot of what I see. Like especially once you get past the first couple rounds. Like we were talking about this off the air, but Isaiah Correll is a third round pick, and like I understand the rationale. I kind of see how people got there, but I wouldn't take him there. I feel like there's a lot of picks like that so far this year where I'm like, really, this guy in this round?
Yeah, it's pretty volatile after you get past like the middle of the first round, actually, or even the top three players at the running back and wide receiver position, outside of your Zekes, your Lev Bells, and your David Johnson. You know, who are you going to take in the fourth spot? Are you taking a LaShawn McCoy? You taking a Gordon?
I would take
Jay
McCoy there, man.
Ajayi? Jordan Howard?
Not Jordan Howard. To me, the clear top four running backs are Lev Bell. I guess Dave. I would have put Zeke ahead of David Johnson to be like trendy before the like Zeke news, but now with Zeke potentially getting a suspension, I can't really do that anymore.
Yep.
But those, Lev Bell, David Johnson, Zeke in some order,
And Jordan Howard. Just throw him in
and then
there.
Jordan Howard, and then McCoy is 4 for me. I think he's like, other than that, he's probably gonna miss a couple games because he always does. I think he's still like
Yeah.
the next best option, pretty clearly.
I'm down with McCoy there, the 4th overall spot. He doesn't have MG trying to leech touches off of him. So, McCoy, what about Gordon? Melvo Gordo.
He's like the fifth running back for me, but at that point, that's where I'd start taking wide receivers. I'm more likely to take one of the big three before I touch Gordon.
Okay, if we
I
shift
think.
over to the wide receiver position, we have the big three of Quintaris,
Quintaris
Odell,
Yones, Odell
and
Beckham,
Antonio Brown.
Ant-Man Brown.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. So who's after those three for you?
I would put AJ Green next. I don't know if he actually has the next
Ooh.
highest ADP, but that's what I would do. Yeah, he was the number one wide receiver last year before he got hurt. So I'm willing to bet on that again.
But isn't he boom or bust? Come on.
Nah, I mean yeah, he
Nah.
is, but they kind of I feel like they kind of all are once you get past the big three. Well, at least that still have a high ceiling, because like there's Mike Evans, but he was kind of boom or bust last year. Then you get into like Jordy Nelson, who was really touchdown dependent. Michael Thomas, who was like so far a 1 year wonder, so I don't really trust it that much yet to go that high.
Yeah.
Dez, who's going to be touchdown dependent. Like the next person who has like a safe floor is like maybe like Doug Baldwin, but his ceiling isn't as high as the other guys.
Agreed. Oh, we're live, baby.
Oh, your
Okay,
pick is
well,
here.
I am picking first overall. This one is pretty much a no-brainer for me. We're talking about a guy that had almost 1,900 all-purpose yards in 12 games. He's a clear fantasy stud. I don't think you can really argue against him as a first overall pick. I'm sure Arizona fans might have a say. But I'm going Lev Bell, fantasy MVP. I mean, there's no other pick for me first overall this year.
Yeah, some people are more into David Johnson. Like he's listed first here on Fantasy Football Calculator, but I just think
It's a mistake.
I think Bell is just like so much safer. He's in the much better situation too. Like more than just like talent versus the players. I like Lev more even just from talent, but he's just in such a better situation. Like I don't see how you could take David Johnson over him.
Yeah, well, David Johnson goes second overall. Now D here. Oh, yeah, he's zigged away from Zeke there.
It's hard
So
to
he
know
must
with
be worried
Zeke.
about that. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Zeke at number 4. The top 6 are probably going to be pretty standard here.
Pretty cut
We'll
and
get
dry.
Julio or Odell next, most likely.
Probably out there's Odell. This guy's probably
Odell.
gonna go Julio.
Moose Soup.
Moose Soup Lady. Lady.
Julio's fine. Okay, this is where it gets a bit dicey. So the 7th overall pick is where you might see a lot of different names pop up. You could get an AJ Green here, maybe a LaShawn McCoy, Melvin Gordon,
Mikey
Mike
Evans.
Evans.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay.
Yeah, he's pretty popular this year, but I'm a little worried about him because once they towards the end of the season last year, they started running a lot more, and his numbers kind of dipped off.
Yeah.
McCoy,
So your
Gordon.
pick's coming up. Who are you hoping for at the 12th spot here?
God, I'm hoping AJ Green makes it. Oh my God, I'd be so happy if he made it to me. He probably won't
He's
though.
not gonna make. Oh, Devonta sneaking into the first. Oh, there he is.
Well, we got a
AJ
couple
Green
computers in
fell
here,
into
but that's
your
fine
lap.
because that kind of simulates a real draft with a couple people that don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, there's always a few
All
of
right.
those.
So obviously AJ Green, but I'm gonna stall a little bit while I look for my second pick, which is probably Jay Ajayi.
But didn't you hear Ryan Tannehill dead?
I guess that news is a little concerning, but I also don't know if I think Tannehill is that good. Like, I don't know if I think the downgrade for him to the next guy is so much that Ajayi's ruined
You mean the downgrade from Tannehill to Matt Moore?
to Cutler. 'Cause Cutler's coming out of retirement, man. It's happening.
Smoking Jay's coming to.
Smokin'
He's
Jay.
taking his talents to South Beach.
All right, let's lock in the AJ Green. Probably Ajayi, like, because the other running backs, because I'm not ready to take Michael Thomas here. Dez, maybe Dez, but it's like Ajayi or
Ooh.
DeMarco to kind of have like DeMarco's probably safer, but I'm kind of excited about the upside of Ajayi.
He of the multiple 200-yard games last year.
Yeah, I mean he was
I mean,
really
he was
good
just-
until their O-line got hurt. So if they stay healthy, maybe it happens.
Yeah, their O-line is a fat question mark right now.
I'm going
So,
Jay Ajayi.
Do it. You talked yourself into
Doing
it.
it. I talk myself. Who would you have gone in that situation?
Wow, Fournette
That's too high.
sneaking up to the top of the second. That's a computer drafting Fournette there,
Yeah.
though. But I could see Fournette going. He's probably going in the middle of the second round right now.
Yeah, I think that's his ADP. A little
it's-
rich for my blood.
That's crazy. That's not a screaming hot value. He's being
No.
drafted at his ceiling. There are a
Yeah.
lot of players that are being drafted at their ceiling, which is concerning at this stage.
Always
But
got to
yeah, I
avoid
would
those
probably
guys.
go Ajayi. I might go. No, I probably would go Ajayi there. The
Yeah.
other choice would have been Dez for me. I don't think I could pull the trigger on Michael Thomas that early.
No.
I
Dez
think
is
he's being
probably
drafted a little
safer.
too high.
Like an AJ Green Dez duo is kind of like insane to think about. But then your RB1's going to be someone kind of shaky once you get there in the third round,
Yeah.
which I'm not excited about in the standard drafts.
Yeah, so this is going to be interesting. There's been a run on or running backs rather. So JoJo. Oh, there's Michael Thomas. So ideally,
This guy
when it
should
gets
probably
to
go
me at the
Dez.
turn here, I'll probably be looking at another running back and then a wide receiver at the top of the third. I guess it
Yeah.
doesn't really matter which order I take them in. It's the same thing. So I'm hoping that one of Todd Gurley or Lamar Miller, even at the top of the third, will be available. If not, I could just go double wide receiver if the value's there. We still have names like Amari Cooper, T.Y. Hilton, Dez.
Hmm. Well, there goes Gurley, so much for that. But he probably wasn't ever going to make it to you.
Yeah,
There goes Dez.
there goes Dez. This is falling apart. But we do have Marshawn Lynch.
There he is. He's pretty high on this list. He's got that second round ADP on this site.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Jesus. Well, see, we're already into that range where running backs now, it's a crapshoot,
You're already
basically.
like, I don't really feel that good about any of these guys.
Yeah, you have Lamar Miller as probably the last solid running back pick, just
Yeah.
because you know that he'll get the volume. Hopefully, he produces more with it this year than he did last year. I feel like he was like consistently getting 10 points a game,
Hmm.
but people expected more from Lamar Miller last year. But I mean, at the top of the third round, he's still a solid pick. Last year, he was solidified as a first round pick. So he has slipped a little bit,
Hmm.
but I would happily take Lamar Miller here at the turn. It's just a matter of how Amari's gone.
All the
So
guys you
now
named are going to go. I guarantee it.
that just makes me sad that Amari's gone. I feel like just quitting this draft. Can't go.
Just the
Gronk.
rage quit. Ooh, he might get to you.
I think Lamar's going to make it to me. If he gets picked here, I'm going to just quit. That's it.
Oh, he made it to you.
DeAndre Hopkins.
It
Okay.
happened.
So I'm going to go Lamar Miller because afterwards there's just
It gets
a
ugly.
huge drop off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I might as well take a solid RB2 here behind Lev. And now I need to look at the wide receiver fields. We have a Dougie Baldwin, a Brandon Cooks, Demarius Thomas. Depends on how I want to look at this. If I want to go safe,
Hmm.
wide receiver, I still think that DT is a solid third round pick.
Yeah.
Now, I have the first pick of the third round, and some people might think, "Oh, you're crazy," but you have to remember I'm not going to be picking again for a while, so DT will definitely be gone. But I am going to say fuck that and go high upside with Brandon Cooks, baby.
Oh, Brandon Cooks. Oh man, I've been like highlighting guys as you talk, trying to guess who you're gonna pick. And I highlighted Sammy Watkins when you said high upside. But
Sammy Watkins was my second choice to
okay,
Brandon Cooks.
I
But
mean
I
Cooks is
saw
definitely
one,
high upside.
I saw one Twitter video already of Cooks just burning,
Oh,
first
just
day of
going
training
crazy in
camp.
training
So,
camp. Yeah.
I'm sold. And the New England Patriots, they spent a lot to bring in Brandon Cooks, so I think they're planning on utilizing him a little bit.
Hopefully. I'm a little worried about his like consistency with just how many mouths are in that offense, but who knows? Maybe he like
Yeah,
really emerges.
that would be the hope because last year he was the definition of boom or bust,
Yeah.
but he still ended up as, a top wide receiver.
Marshawn in the
Nice.
third to Moose Soup Lady.
There he is, Skittles. Yeah, Brandon Cooks was wide receiver 8 last year.
Really? Oh wow. I didn't think it was that
Yeah,
high.
he had his 1175 in terms of yardage, 8 touchdowns. But he was like huge game,
Right.
terrible game, huge game. And when he went off, he went off.
Hmm.
He would have 20 plus points, but then it was paltry when he wasn't performing.
Yeah, he's the guy that you draft. You start every week because you can't afford to like get tricky, and then you miss a big week. And then your wide receiver two has to be someone that has like a high floor, just to like protect you for when he has a quieter week. And then
Yeah.
you can make that work pretty well.
Like a DT.
Like a
A
DT,
DT would be
yeah.
a perfect
Hmm.
complement to a Brandon Cooks because he's pretty solidly in the 7 to 14 point range
Yeah.
every week. Whereas Brandon Cooks might be 25 points, he might be one.
Yeah,
So,
he's all over the. Oh man, this computer's going RB heavy. Melvin Gordon,
okay.
Jordan Howard, the Crow. Oh shit, it's my pick. Okay. Uh, let's see what we got here. My boy Spencer Ware is sitting here. That's interesting. That's interesting. Alshon
Yeah.
Jeffers is sitting here. Also interesting.
Keenan Allen's
Keelan Allen kind of titillates me a little bit.
the
Carlos
titillating pick
Hyde,
of
but
Keenan
I don't
Allen.
think I like Carlos Hyde as much as Ware. Even though
Joe
like
Mixon.
the Joe Mixon is like the high upside pick, but I feel like he's gonna be useless for the first like month of the season at least, unless he really does something crazy in training camp. But I haven't heard much about him yet, even in this
I
first
think
week.
he got hurt today.
Oh, did he? All right,
Yeah,
then
but
not
I
Joe
don't think it's
Mixon.
anything serious, but he's tweaking muscles already.
I'm gonna pull the trigger on Spencer Ware here. I'm not super concerned about Kareem Hunt. Definitely not in the beginning of the season. Maybe like as the season goes on, I start to worry and I move Ware in this like hypothetical league where I own him. But I think that Ware will be a pretty safe RB2 at least to start this season.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, and you're just concerned about some wear and tear as the season goes
some
on,
wear
you
and
could say.
tear. Yeah, and when their line got hurt last year, so you hope the line stays healthier and he can keep playing better. So do I go wide receiver here or really lean into that running back depth?
Well, you have an
Um,
elite wide receiver already in AJ Green, so you can kind of stack up on your running backs.
That's true. I'm gonna take the man, the myth, the legend, Carlos Hyde.
There we
Um,
go. Woo!
Yeah, he's his like the perception of Carlos Hyde. I feel like yo-yos pretty wildly from week to week. Like for a while, it was like Carlos Hyde is terrible. Joe Williams is gonna take his job. Don't even touch him. And then like this week, Shanahan came out and was like, "Oh no, like Hyde's been looking really good. I feel confident in him." And now it's like everyone's like, "Oh, Hyde's a new man. He just looks different out there." So
And then next week's news is that he gets cut.
maybe. I mean, that's for
So,
sure the risk. But assuming he's on the team week one, I think he's got to be the favorite for the majority of the touches. And it's not a good offense, so it's not like an exciting situation. That's why he's my RB3. But he has performed as an RB1 like consistently before in his career. Um,
yeah.
so it's possible with him.
And in the fourth round as your RB3, I
Yeah.
mean, you can't really go wrong with that. If he doesn't perform, it's your RB3. If he
Mhm.
performs like an RB1, then I mean, you're gravy, baby.
Then I'm swimming in the gravy.
Mhm. You need some gravy. Okay, now I need to start. This is where you will win your draft right here, coming up in the fourth, fifth, sixth round, because the pickings are slim. There's high upside players like Tyreek Hill available,
Mhm.
and then you have a whole bunch of maybes.
Yeah.
Players who have performed in the past but are starting to decline a little bit, a la Brandon Marshall.
Hmm.
The running back field right now is pretty bland. We have Adrian Peterson. Well, Doug Martin. Jeez, you can't take Doug Martin this early.
Too
with
early
his
for that.
suspension. CJ Anderson, who just went, so forget that.
That would have been
Amir
interesting.
Abdullah, who is apparently going to be the feature back. We've never heard this story before. So
Sure, he will. Sure. There goes your Tyreek Hill. So time to tilt.
now it's me on the clock. Let's see. I'm probably going to take a wide receiver here. Devonta Adams. No, I can't pull the trigger on Devonta Adams this high.
It's a bit early.
Man, this is dicey. This is where it gets kind of ugly here.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with a homer pick just because I like this offense and take Michael Crabtree here. Fourth round, but it's the fourth, fifth turn, so you can view him as either a fourth or fifth round pick. And we've seen him put up monster years, outperforming Amari Cooper, who's going in the second round. So
Yeah.
I'm going to take Michael Crabtree. He's more of a safe pick because he's Derek Carr's favorite target, especially in the red zone. I mean, forget about Seth Roberts. Come on. So Michael Crabtree is the elite wide receiver too. It's a part of an elite offense Super Bowl winning offense. But the clock is ticking, so I need to pick
You've
a
been spending all your
player.
time talking about how good Michael Crabtree is instead of your next pick.
I'm gonna draft Tevin Coleman a little bit early,
All right.
but again, it's the fifth round. I'm not going to be drafting again to the very end of the sixth, so
Mm.
I'm not sure that he's there at the end of the sixth round. And as a RB3, I'm taking Tevin Coleman for potential, essentially. We know he's going to be a part of the passing game. We know Devonta Freeman is their elite running back. He's talking huge contract right now. So Tevin Coleman has the potential to step into an RB1 situation if there's any sort of injury to Devonta Freeman, but I think he has value on his own. So
Yeah.
that's the type of player you want to take in the mid round. Okay. He could be a potential lotto ticket and win you a league, or at the very least, he's a solid flex play week to week where
Yeah.
you're looking at matchups. You know he's going to be involved in the red zone a little bit. He's going to score some touchdowns. And I mean, maybe more in the PPR league. You want to look at Tevin Coleman, but I like Tevin Coleman here in the fifth round.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like those picks. I especially like pairing Crabtree with Cooks because like Cooks is the boomer bust and Crabtree's like a pretty safe floor guy. So that should like give you like pretty solid production between the two. Yeah, and Coleman is an RB3. It's like he already has RB1 weeks in him with Freeman on the field. And if Freeman ever goes down, that's like a top 5 running back. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. And he's part of an elite offense. So these are
Yeah.
the things that you want to look at.
These are the things.
So you're going to have some choices to make.
I mean, if the Amir Express gets to me, I'm probably going to take him. But also, I only have one wide receiver, so I need to take at least a wide receiver at this turn.
Well, you still got names like Brandon Marshall.
Yeah.
You have the safe picks like Julian Edelman. Jamison Crowder is getting a lot of hype this year.
He is. I feel like he's getting hyped by the PPR people. They're excited about him, which makes sense because with Garcon and Deshaun Jackson gone, like someone has to catch at least like some amount of passes. So he's probably going to see a lot of targets. But in standard, I'm a little wary of his touchdown numbers.
Yeah, I'm still more about Josh Doxson this year than
Yeah, for
Jamison
sure.
Crowder, at least in standard leagues. I mean, he has the upside, and you saw them trying to get him involved in the red zone. Oh, you're up.
I am on the clock. I like to just do a quick like tight end quarterback check. Did anyone crazy slip? Nope. So let's keep looking here. Wide receiver. Let's scope that out. Marshall's like an interesting touchdown guy. Probably want to see crazy yardage, but should be the de facto red zone threat there, which is like kind of useful. Kelvin Benjamin interests me a little bit once we're getting this late. Even though he reportedly looks really fat, I'm still interested. But I'm actually going to go a different route to sort of pair this with AJ Green, and that is a Golden
There you go.
Tate.
Oh,
Um,
a Golden Tate.
A Golden Tate. The idea is that Golden Tate has a really high floor. After like the first month of the last season, he started off really slow during like the Marvin Jones era that happened for a few weeks.
Yeah.
But from that point on, when like the switch happened and he started getting targets again, Golden Tate was a wide receiver 1 in standard. So, and then his ceiling isn't ever super high, but AJ Green's is, and Golden Tate has a nice high floor, so that kind of gives me a safer wide receiver group.
Yeah, kind of the same philosophy that I went with the Cooks and the Crabtree.
Yeah. At this point, I am going to take.
Lean into it. Take Marshall.
And there it is.
Brandon Marshall.
Brandon Marshall. Yeah, I mean, it's, what I said before. The touchdowns. He's on I think the passing offense is going to be good. I think that the Giants aren't going to be able to run the ball.
Wait, Paul Perkins? Anyone?
I-
Come on.
I don't
He's a
think
3 down back.
I don't think he is. I think Paul
Has he been
Perkins is the
drafted
Giants. No.
Oh, he's my pick. I'm telling you right now. Paul Perkins is my pick.
He's
if he
the
makes it
Giants
to me.
version of Amir Abdullah, where he's not going to get the red zone stuff. He's not going to get the passing down work. So he's just the between the
Hearsay.
20s early down guy, which like isn't worth that much. Like 70 total yards and no touchdown is not a very good running back week. It's okay, but it's not.
Our 70 total yards and 3 touchdowns.
There's probably going to be like Orleans Darkwa or someone ridiculous like that. Maybe he
P-squared?
gets the goal line work. What?
You clowning on P squared?
If I hear he's getting the goal line work, then I'm interested. But that is yet to be seen. But that's for
Kentucky edition
Brandon
of
Marshall.
Paul Perkins is this year's Jordan Howard.
What? That's not
Now,
even the
Ben,
same.
I'm just saying. Last year, Ben Stash made the call that Jordan Howard was going to be the next best rookie behind Ezekiel Elliott, and he
Right.
was.
He was.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's correct. Paul
this
Perkins is
year,
not a rookie.
he's not a rookie, but that's irrelevant to this conversation. I'm just saying he's going to have the same impact. Paul Perkins, P squared. He's making it to me. I'm going to take him in the 6th round. Everything is going to align, and I will have a championship team. I am a procurer of championships. Just to fill the crowd in, can you remind the
I don't think
audience
you
who
have
won?
any. I don't
league
remember
last
you
year?
winning any championships, honestly. I don't remember it. I don't think it happened.
Oprah was out there being like, "You get a championship."
Oh, there goes your Paul
No,
Perkins.
and Amir.
Oh man, what are you even
Why?
gonna do now? You should probably. Ooh, I see who I would pick if I was you, but I'm gonna see if you do. I'm just gonna highlight it for the audience.
I'm probably gonna take Mark Ingram
Oh,
here.
that's who I highlighted. Oh, there he goes.
Just no. What? Okay, so this is a good exercise in not tilting into oblivion when all of your picks get taken.
Don't tilt during
the-
the draft.
I'm gonna go check out the wide receiving field here. See, I guess I'm gonna take. He's kind of like a post-hype sleeper here.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna take a Dante Moncrief
Yeah, I like that.
in the 6th round. Last year, I think he was going in the 4th or 5th round, and then he got hurt, was out for a big chunk of the year. Wasn't seeing a huge amount of targets, but I'm thinking that behind T.Y. Hilton, he's a solid wide receiver too. Running backs, I'm actually going to make a move on a quarterback
Oh.
because we're in the 7th round, y'all. I'm going to take a Russell Wilson here,
Oh.
7th round.
I like it. That's some good
Because-
value.
That's a great value for Russell Wilson, who has the potential to be a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen him do it before. He gives you the dual threat if he's healthy. Last year was kind of an anomaly for him because he was dealing with a bevy of injuries.
Yeah.
He could barely walk. I mean, he was, bedridden outside of Sundays from all reports. So
Yeah.
Russell Wilson should be firing on all cylinders this year. And going into last year, he was a top 3 pick
Yeah.
at the quarterback position. So, again, I'm in this weird spot where I am not going to be drafting again for a while. I think we're going to see a run on quarterbacks here, the 7th and 8th round. So he's kind of in that tier where you want to take that elite quarterback if he falls into the 6th, 7th round, because they're all going to go. And then you're going to be, okay, you're in the spot where you might as well wait to the 10th or 11th round to draft a quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. That's some good value. You took him as like the
Screaming
quarter.
hot
It's a
value.
screaming out value. I mean, you took him as the QB5, which I feel like is his floor this year, and his ceiling is like top 3 definitely. It's just he can stay healthy, and the line can't be worse. It should be better based off the moves they made. So we'll see.
Yeah, God, I hope so. I mean,
man,
it'd
so
be depressing if it was worse than last year.
I'm gonna highlight a Stephon Diggs because if he makes it to me, it's gonna be the happiest day of my life. But with 2 computers in front of me, he definitely won't. So,
Well, Tyler Eifert.
oh my
This is
God,
it.
Stephon
Cammy
Diggs
Newton.
falls into my lap. Oh my God! All right, so I'm definitely gonna be pulling the trigger on one Stephanie Diggies.
Dig-
Diglets, yeah, he's
Digs out for Harambe.
Diggs out for Harambe. Let's just lock that in. He's the number 1 guy there. And when he was healthy last year, he was pretty good. It's just that he got hurt and wasn't really ever the same again. So now fully healthy as my wide receiver 4, I like it's like a safe floor, and we've seen the high upside that he can have.
Yeah, well, week 1 and 2 last year, I mean, he was touted as the next big thing.
Yeah.
And then
was
the rest of the
boasting.
season happened.
What round are we in? The 8th of the rounds. We'll do a quick tight end heat check. Nope. Quarterbacks. Nope. All right. Any running back that really screams at me. All right. I'm gonna pull the trigger on a pick, and you're gonna be furious about it because you've always hated him for years. Oh shit!
I don't know if this
gonna
is
let me
true.
do it. Yeah, Jonathan Stewart of the Carolina
Stu.
Panthers. The rationale behind him is that we're all just kind of assuming McCaffrey's going to be a 3-down back, and he might not be. So Stewart could very easily end up with the early down work for at least. I think by the end of the year, it's like all McCaffrey. But I think to start the season, we could see Stewart having a bigger role than most people expect. He's a prime like draft and trade a month later after he started hot kind of guy for me.
We hot.
We hot. And as an RB4, the risk is pretty low. I almost took Kareem Hunt just as like a let's lock up the Chiefs, but that feels dumb, so I didn't do it.
Yeah, Jonathan Stewart, I mean, he's just the definition of a meh pick for me.
Mm-hmm.
But that's also because, you know, I'm a Stanford believer, and Christian McCaffrey is going to be the next big thing in the NFL. I'm telling you.
But week 1, will he be? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens over the course of training camp.
Okay, listen to this line. Week 1.
Okay.
We're going 225 total yards.
Okay.
And 3 touchdowns.
And 6 fumbles.
I think that'll still be a good week, even if you.
I mean, yeah, you'd still be happy about that, actually. I mean, he's someone where come like preseason week 3, I will make sure to watch their game, or at least like look at the box score to see how much of a workload he got. Because if he's the full guy there, then never mind, forget Jonathan Stewart. I'm not into it. Oh,
it's me. Well, Jaquiz was going to be my pick, but he got taken. Okay. So I'm going to look at another running back here. And I'm going to go upside here and take somebody who is also a post-hype sleeper that looked good in a brief amount of time last year. Somebody you're very familiar with. One, CJ Prosise.
Oh, the Prosising. Yeah, he looked really good.
That's only because I'm completely done with Eddie Lacy. I think that
that's fair.
Yeah, he's going to get some work, but CJ Prosise has the explosiveness. In the 8th round, this is where you want to grab these high upside guys that could step into the RB1 spot, and we saw him do it last year and flourish. I'm liking a CJ Prosise, and now I've taken a couple of high upside wide receivers. I'm going to go with another one, actually, a favorite of Bench Stash. In the 9th round, I'm going to go John Brown.
Jonathan Brown. Yeah, I really like him as a post-type guy this year.
I mean, he has the explosiveness. Who else is there? You have the corpse of Larry Fitzgerald. Basically, I mean, John Brown should be the guy in Arizona, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm taking him in the 9th round. I mean, there's not much to lose, really. He has the big play ability. He's kind of boom or bust a little bit, but I think they want to utilize him as more of a wide receiver 1, at the very least wide receiver 2. I mean, there's J.J. Nelson who kind of stepped up last year, but I'm not buying what they're selling in terms of J.J. Nelson. So I'm drafting John Brown here all day.
I'm with you. His down year last year was really a result of his health, and reports are that he is healthy now. So if that continues, then I don't see why he can't be at least a wide receiver 2. Maybe even more.
I'm thinking he's a wide receiver 1.
Oh, the wide receiver 1? Oh my god.
The wide receiver. Step over Ant-Man Brown. John Brown's coming.
That's that.
There can be only one Brown in town.
Take. Only one Brown in I mean, it rhymes, so I guess I can't disagree.
Yeah.
All right, looking ahead to my pick here. I'll highlight a couple boys. I'm interested in a Tommy Rawls. I'm interested in a. God, these running backs are disgusting.
Yeah, I know. That's
I mean, we're in the 9th round, so I shouldn't be surprised.
I mean, you have a Marlon Mack. I mean, when is Frank Gore really gonna fall apart?
Look, here's what's gonna happen.
We've been waiting for years.
Frank Gore's gonna get hurt, and then Robert Turbin's gonna end up being the guy, and no one's gonna own him.
That's just he'll be a hot waiver wire pickup in week 2.
All right, I've got a couple guys I'm looking at. I'm highlighting. I'm doing the clicks on them. I'm interested in Tommy Rawls for a similar reason you are interested in Prosise, of just expecting Lacy to not do well.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I'm actually going to lean wide receiver with this first pick.
You going Cam Meredith?
I am looking at Cam Meredith. I'll hit that draft player button on him just because, he's the guy there. Who they got to throw to someone. Why not Cam Meredith?
Don't sleep on Kevin White.
If Kevin White can stay healthy, then this could finally be his year. But it has not looked good for his career. It has looked morbid at best. Oh,
Damn.
I know what I'm gonna do here. Pull the trigger on the man, the myth, the legend, Hunter Henry.
Hunter Henry, MILF Hunter.
Oh, MILF Hunter
10th
himself
round.
in the 10th round. Feels like pretty good value. Um, that only has the corpse of Antonio Gates in his way. I feel like
Gates is important, dude.
uh,
He's never gonna go away.
he's gonna be there when he's 60. Mike Williams got hurt, so that like receiving core is starting to like thin out a little bit. Hunter Henry was really good last year in his rookie year, so now entering his sophomore year, I think the upside is a very high.
Yeah, very high.
Yeah.
I agree. Oh wow. Okay. People are taking defense here in the 10th round. They're not a computer. This is disgusting.
It's pretty
okay,
bad.
there's
It's pretty
Thomas
bad.
Wallace. Okay, I probably should take a tight end in the next couple of rounds, but let's just see what is left. We have a Theo Riddick, Jamal Williams. Oh
Ooh,
my gosh.
the upside.
Wide receivers. I'm gonna take Corey Coleman.
Yeah, I almost took him instead of
Fair.
Cam Meredith, but I mean, the upside is big.
Yeah, the upside is big. Cleveland apparently is going to be better. I mean, Isaiah Crowell is a third-round pick. They have an elite offensive line.
Oh my god.
Don't talk about their quarterback, but
That's the
whoever
biggest
is
problem,
there.
man. Like that's if they had an even decent quarterback, I'd be on board this like Cleveland. I don't even know if you can call it a resurgence, a surgence. But I'm not.
I'm going to take a tight end here because there's probably going to be nothing left by the time it gets to me.
Yeah, slim pickings.
I'm going to
down
go
here.
with a pretty safe Zach Ertz pick
Yeah.
here. Philadelphia should have a decent enough offense. They've made a lot of upgrades at the wide receiver position. There's going to be room to roam for Zach Ertz. And Carson Wentz, theoretically, should be better in his second year. He's had time to adjust to the NFL. And he has weapons, like I mentioned. You have Torrey Smith. You have Alshon Jeffries. And
Multiple
yeah, that's all
Alshon
you really
Jeffries.
need. Multiple Alshon Jeffries.
Yeah, I'm into it. Ertz is like a nice late round guy where the upside seems to always be lurking with him. Maybe it's his year, and if it's not, it doesn't really matter in the 11th round.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, he's probably good for like 5 points a week.
Mm-hmm.
He's throwing a touchdown on top of that, then you're looking at an elite fantasy week for a tight end.
All right, well, there goes Jamal Williams. So I'm tilted.
I was looking at Jamal Williams too. It's either going to be Ertz or Williams. So
All right, well, I should probably dip back into the running back pool here.
dipping dots.
Dipping dots here. I'm highlighting a Joe Williams. I'm highlighting a
You
Jonathan
highlight a
Williams.
lot of players.
Yeah, man, I'm all about just highlighting and then not making a pick, and then I let it choose for me. Man, it's gross down here. Real bad. All right, I'm going to take...
Yes.
How early am I taking this guy? Do I think he's going to be here later? Oh, he might be. Well, let me take my quarterback first. I'm going
There
to
you go.
take one Tyrodian Taylor.
Ooh! Here's another post hyper.
Yeah, he is. The reason that he was exciting last preseason still exists. The hope is that if Sammy stays healthy, then Tyrod can have a good year. If not, then he's terrible and you cut him, basically. All right.
Well stated.
This is probably a little bit of a reach, but
It's the 11th, 12th round. You're fine.
12th round, yeah. So a safer pick would be Joe Williams, which I'm not going to do. But at this point, it's not crazy to just take both the San Francisco running backs. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take one, Jonathan Williams. The backup to McCoy, so pretty much guaranteed to get a couple games starting.
Starts, yeah.
A couple starts, and he could become like the touchdown guy. He could do what Gillisley was doing last season of just being a thorn in his side.
Yeah. Oh, John Ross going in the 12th round.
Ooh.
Interessante. Which is interesting for y'all.
Oh.
In Russian, I believe.
The Russian shirt checks out.
Yeah.
Seems legit.
So yeah, we're in the swamplands of the mock draft at this point. So basically, you're looking at upside, upside, upside.
Hmm.
I mean, you might as well shoot for the stars here in the 12th round. Now, I've already locked up my quarterback and my tight end. So the 14th, 15th, we have defense and kicker. So I have 2 rounds where I can kind of just take a shot. So I'm going to go with a guy I mentioned before. I'm going to take a Marlon Mack because why not? One of these years, I mean, he's getting some hype already in training camp, and one
Yeah.
of these years, Frank Gore is actually going to break down.
He
So
can't just stay healthy
I-
his entire life.
it's my lottery ticket pick here in the 12th, and then let's see, how am I looking here? So I have 5 wide receivers, 5 running backs, pretty even distribution, but I tend to lean heavier on the running back. So I'm going to go with Gio Bernard.
I like it.
Gio Bernard in the 13th. I mean, Jeremy Hill is pretty much, he's been excommunicated.
He's
no
done
longer
yin
a part
rings,
of
man.
this. Yeah.
Done
He's
yin
done in
rings.
rings. There it is. And Joe Mixon is a rookie. Yeah, apparently he is, seething with talent, but anything could go wrong. So I'm just going to lock up Gio Bernard because why not?
Yeah, I think that all makes sense. I'm highlighting some dudes. I'm doing some highlighting here, prepping for my pick, the pick that the people are waiting
Yeah,
for.
my draft is over. My draft is
Basically.
over.
Yeah, you're
I
just
mean, I
taking your
have to take-
defense and kickers.
I mean, I guess I don't. We've talked about this before. If the draft forces you to take a defense and a kicker, by all means, but you don't have to be locked into it.
All right, so here are the guys that I have highlighted. James Conner, the now handcuffed to Lev Bell.
James Conner.
So that's
Are you
kind of
James
interesting
Conner?
as like a lottery ticket. Rex Burkhead, because who knows who's going to come out on top in New England. Maybe it's Burkhead.
That's true.
Darren McFadden, who I would have picked before what I saw tonight.
See?
But after what I saw tonight in the Hall of Fame game, I'm going to do a different pick. I'm going to lock in Alfred Morris.
Amo.
We don't know how long
just
Zeke is
eating.
suspended. This could easily, like, if they could make an example of Zeke and he misses like 4 games. A 4-game
Jeez, that would
starter
be a
for
disaster.
Dallas is like in the 13th round. Yeah, even if you cut him after that, that's still huge. And I would have done
Or you
McFadden,
just flip
but
them.
or you just flip him.
Flip
Yeah.
them to the Zeke owner after the 4 games. That insurance policy.
Exactly. I would have picked McFadden, but he looked really bad tonight, and Morris looked really good. So who knows? There could be a changing of the guard for that backup. And I picked the Jacksonville defense because, they need love eventually. So it's going to be this.
Yeah. So if my guy makes it to me, I'm not even going to take a defense.
What?
Tyler Lockett.
Oh, the Tyler Lockett. I should have taken him.
I'm going to take a guy nobody's talking about.
I'm talking
And
about
they
him.
should
Who is
be.
it? I know who he is. Who is
They
it?
should be, because Marshawn Lynch is no guarantee.
Oh,
and the next
Jalen
guy up
Rashad.
is Jalen Richard. I know they want to tell you that DeAndre Washington still exists,
Mm-hmm.
but it's Jalen Richard. He's next up on the depth chart. They love him, and he's made an enormous impact. So I'm going to take him 14th round. Why not? And I guess I will draft a defense or a kicker. Let's go with that. Be more defense, because it's basically a throwaway pick. I'm not going to take a kicker because if your draft doesn't force you to take a kicker, you can kind of wait and see. You never know what type of injury is going to happen. You might be, I mean, it's an extra pick. You could scoop up a gold mine and not even realize it, and then cut somebody else later on, right before week 1 starts. So that's my draft, and you have a huge decision coming up, 15th overall.
Oh, my God.
I don't know what you're going to do.
What is there to do? Probably panic is a good first step.
I think you just quit and let the computer draft, because this decision is a killer.
It truly is. All right, I got one guy. I'm not going to take a kicker for the reasons that you listed. Oh my God, it's my pick. I'm going to
Kevin White
milk.
went in the 15th round. That's amazing.
Oh man, I was just going to take him. I'm tilted. Oh my God.
Was that your pick?
Oh my God, I can't even handle this right now.
You got 30 seconds, so you better pick somebody.
All right, I'm gonna pick um, Paul Richardson as
Oh
just
yeah,
like,
I heard he's been running ahead of who's he been running ahead of?
I mean, he's been ahead
Seattle back.
of Curse and Lockett right now.
That's yeah, Jermaine Curse.
Jermaine Curse, yeah, because we don't know what Lockett's health is. Jermaine Curse is really bad, and Richardson kind of like emerged at the end of the last season, so he could, maybe he ends up being the number two receiver. It's possible. And the 15th round, it doesn't matter. I could cut him.
Anything is possible.
So here are our drafts. Take a look at your draft. Tell me what you like, what you don't like, why it's really bad.
Well, looking over my draft, I'm fairly pleased.
Hmm.
I mean, could it win a championship? Yeah, of course. And that's what you want to. That's what you want to be saying about your team after the draft, because the draft is only a small portion of your season. The rest is going to be making trades, staying active on the waiver wire. So no championship is truly won during a draft. But I won this draft because I drafted Le'Veon Bell. So that's basically. I mean, I have Le'Veon Bell. I can't be too disappointed.
Right.
And if looking at my running backs, it's Le'Veon Bell, Lamar Miller, Tevin Coleman, and a bunch of maybe.
Yeah.
So, not bad. If one of those top two guys goes down, then it's not looking too hot. My wide receiving group, I'm a little bit more pleased with. I think there's more consistency throughout. We have Brandon Cooks, Michael Crabtree. Dante Moncrief is a third, or a John Brown. I think you can kind of alternate Moncrief, Brown, and even Coleman maybe. They all have a shot at being a wide receiver that produces for you. So I'm happy with my wide receivers. Zach Ertz is, he's a tight end, so you have to draft him. Overall, I would probably say this is a B draft. I could do better, but it's a good gauge as to where players are being drafted now. I mean, we saw the value in the 15th round with, you have Perryman going, you have Kevin White, Paul Richardson, Sterling Shepard going in the 15th round, even though apparently he died as well.
Even though he got hurt, yeah. So I don't really know what that guy's doing.
So talk me through your draft.
Right. Yeah. So I have like similar feelings. I've been working on this theory this offseason as I like muse to myself,
Lay it on me.
which is that if you look at your draft and feel like it went really well, you're actually doomed to have a bad team, because for all the like hyped picks, like at least like half of them don't work out. Like they just bust. And so if your entire draft is like people that have been hyped up during the offseason, then you're just asking for like half of it to bust. Whereas if you look at your draft, you're like, I love some of these guys I feel kind of meh about. I think you have a better chance of keying in on those guys that like are unexpected that happen every year.
Yeah.
And so like, like Carlos Hyde isn't getting any love this year. Maybe he's one of the unexpected guys. Maybe Jonathan Stewart has a bigger role than we expect. No one's really talking about Brandon.
No, Jonathan Stewart's not going to happen.
No one's really talking about Brandon Marshall. He's kind of gone under the radar, but he could he could see double-digit touchdowns in that offense and no real red zone threat. So
yeah, we are Marshall, baby.
We are Marshall. So I like my receiving group a lot. AJ Green, obviously, wide receiver 1 ceiling. I like Golden Tate as like a high floor guy to pair with him. Same goes for Diggs. Marshall has a high touchdown ceiling. Meredith feels like a really safe 5. And who knows? Maybe Meredith flashed some big games last season, and so if he can really be the one, then there's something there.
He's got that chemistry with Glennon, apparently. Word on the street
Glennon chemistry.
That training camp talk.
Hey man, that paid off last year with Kenny Britt. So why can't it pay off with Cameron Meredith?
Is Cam Meredith your Kenny Britt this season?
I'm not ready to lock that in yet, but he might be. Running backs, I feel like all my guys are boom or bust. Like Jay Ajayi, he could be a complete bust, or he could be like, a top 3 running back. Ware, Hyde, all these guys are really risky. So if this was my actual draft, I'd be like, my move would be like, I'm definitely making some trades in the first few weeks. Like I'm definitely watching my running backs games closely to move the ones that are having good games, but I don't like the look of it, kind of a thing. Like, oh, this doesn't look like a repeatable thing, but they started hot. Then I'm getting rid of those guys because this doesn't look like a core I'd be happy with all season. But, maybe that supports my theory that Jonathan Stewart will be the RB1.
Yeah, you have to take advantage of early season value, basically. We've talked about this. I guess this is our second full season doing bench stats, but we've harped on this. There are the players that you draft knowing that they'll have a big first part of the season. Larry Fitzgerald is a guy we've kind of
Yeah.
keyed in on in the past couple seasons, or Steve Smith when he was around. Because you know they're going to blow up the first couple weeks, but you know they won't be able to sustain their production. And you basically take advantage of, there's always that person in your league that will look at the big games, that will buy into the hype, and that will give you a legitimate piece in return. So, I mean, if you're looking at your roster, who would that guy be? Brandon Marshall?
Yeah. Brandon Marshall, I think, is a good example of that because of his age, but because I don't think he really hit the age wall last year. I think that was just the Jets imploding. So I think he's a Larry Fitzgerald candidate of like starts the season hot, but then slows down because he is a bit older. So he's a candidate to move after the first like month or like 6 weeks. Like basically wait till the matchups suddenly look like, this seems like where Brandon Marshall might start to struggle, and then move him. Well, yeah, don't be afraid to draft those guys because remember, you're not drafting the team you're going to win with. You're drafting a team you can make trades with to win.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at championship rosters from your league, I mean, if you won the championship, then you look at your own roster, which is what I do because, I mean, basically, I just win. That's all I do.
Sure.
I just win.
Sure.
No.
Sure.
And look at how many players that you actually drafted come the end of the fantasy playoffs. Because my roster last season, my championship winning roster from last season, there's the GIF. The eye roll GIF. Probably had fewer than 5 players.
Yeah, sounds right.
That I drafted. Lev Bell was one of them, and he basically won me the championship.
Yeah.
Because I took the risk of drafting him in the second round, knowing that he would be suspended for the first 3 games. And yeah, I mean, he came back and won me the league. I'm getting emotional just thinking about it, actually. It was a beautiful thing.
Let's wrap this episode up. We've gotten out of hand with this self-love. You're done.
Don't cut me off.
All right,
this is
guys.
completely necessary. The people need to hear.
They don't need to hear. They don't need to know about your faux championships that you robbed me of. They'd just be ashamed if they heard what you did.
You need to at least know that we win championships.
I mean, that's true.
So that we're not just 2 random guys throwing shit off the cuff.
Bench Stash did win championships last year. Which of us won them? Irrelevant. But between Bench Stash, we won 2. No, we won 3 because I won one of my leagues that you're not in last year. So
yeah, that's convenient.
Okay. Anyway, so Bench Stash, follow us and you'll win. Easy peasy.
Yeah.
Lemon squeezy.
At BenchStash, FF, Twitter. We're actually going to start tweeting things again. We had like a 7th-month hiatus because of Leo. But,
because of me. All because of me.
Yeah, I mean, you went off, you got married and went on a honeymoon and did all that weird stuff. So
that was for sure me. That was definitely the one doing that. Gallivanting around Europe or wherever it is you went.
Yeah, it was Europe.
Yeah. God damn you.
That's
All right. Yeah, follow us, subscribe, tweet at us, comment at us. We will be doing this at least once a week. If we can make it work twice a week, then we'll do that. And yeah.
Yep. Juicy content coming your way. Stick around.
Stick around.
Splashy,
and we'll catch you all on the flippy floppy Dunyan rings.
There it is.
Boom.
Catchphrase of the season. All right, see you guys later.
Yeah. Bye.